So good morning. This is something I rarely ever do anymore. Is a fight day preview, but we have a special guest. Well, he's not really special now. He's a part of the family. So this is TstreeT Controversy with Big J and FightView360.com. We cover every single major fight live, or at least we're getting really back to that, especially since boxing is starting back up again. For example, if you haven't heard, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing is having a media event tomorrow to announce their fight camp fights. So expect me tomorrow, June the 26th. Right now it's 10:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of sunny Philadelphia, June the 25th. So what we're going to talk about now is, since I got my colleague all the way over from Australia, Big J, what time is it over there?
Mate, it's 12:30 in the morning. It's the middle of the fucking night.
So let me tell you, now normally when I'm doing videos with Big J, it's normally the other way around, me talking to him in the middle of the night. So I'm kind of a little happy about this now that I'm all up and chipper and he's got to, make sure the kids stay sleeping anyway. But anyway, let's get to some boxing. So we talked about, let me turn the sound down. So we talked about how big and important this fight was for the now 21-1 with 14 KO Andrew Moloney, former 115-pound WBA world champion, losing to Joshua Franco a couple of nights ago. According to Ben Damon from Fox Sports over in Australia, let me pull up the tweet. What is it? 2 perforated eardrums, stitches in his mouth. I don't remember. Did they say broken nose? Go ahead, Jay. Help me out here.
I've got a Facebook release from Andrew Maloney himself, so just give me a second. I'll bring it up with his injuries. Hang on a second. I've just got to find it. But basically, it was 2 perforated eardrums, a busted lip, and a possible broken nose. I don't believe that he actually has a broken nose. It didn't say that in his post. Hang on, I've just found it here. Here we go. This is from Andrew Maloney. I am gutted that I've woken up this morning no longer a world champion. I feel like I let a lot of people down last night, and I'm sorry. That's bullshit. The only person he let down himself. He didn't let any of us down, so you shouldn't worry about that. It was a tough night at the office. 2 perforated eardrums, stitches above the eye and inside my mouth, and what feels like to be a broken nose. I have no excuses. Had a great training camp. Felt amazing before the fight. Thank you to my manager, Top Rank, for the opportunity. And goes on there for a little bit about how he wants to get home and see his son before his first birthday and all that sort of good stuff. But injuries, perforated eardrums, stitches above the eye and mouth, and possible broken nose. So the poor bugger got the Christ beaten out of him. I shouldn't blaspheme. You got the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. So what do you think went wrong? I just think that he just didn't have enough power to keep Franco off of him.
Well, you got to remember, Franco was a bigger guy. I reckon Franco would have had at least 8 to 10 pound on him in weight advantage, because he was cutting down. Franco was a 118 fighter fighting him. So I reckon, he was. You could tell that Franco was a bigger guy.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you see Jason and Andrew standing next to each other, you can see that Jason's a little bit bigger than what Andrew is. So. Yeah, and I think he was just beaten by a lot bigger man, and his defense was, like, his counter left hook was brilliant, because even though Andrew kept on hitting him, his defense was great. He had his hands up, and he just kept on left hooking, and his counter punches were great.
But he just didn't have the power to keep Franco away. Especially since Franco is battle tested with that trilogy against Oscar Negrete. And let me tell you, I watched all 3 of them fights, and for those who know me, my memory is shit. So I didn't forget that I saw those fights, and looking back at it, I remember Joshua Franco, and I should have known better, especially during fight day when the odds started swaying more heavily into Joshua Franco's, favor. But the question now is, what does Andrew Maloney do? The rebuilding path is going to be steep, because right now you had twin brothers headlining major boxing. It's a major sport, in the States, especially with the amount of money boxers make. Headlining on our #1 sports network, ESPN, and he lost on that scale. So the rebuilding path, I guess what I'm saying is, it's going to be hard to get back to where he was. And it's unfortunate that I have to be this hard on him, but I can't see him at the top of 115 pounds. He's got to prove me wrong, and guess what? I cover every single fight, so we're going to be here. So I mean, I know I'm being hard on him, but what's your opinion? So okay, first let me give you some perspective. You have WBC champion Juan Francisco Estrada, Andrew Moloney. I don't think can beat him. The power. Chocolatito Gonzalez, WBA Super World, Jeronin Cajas, Kazuka Ioka. Now here's the thing. I'm guessing that it's going to depend on how he looks in his next 2 fights. But at this point in time, you can't really baby Andrew Moloney. He's 29 years old.
That's exactly right. Yeah, well, I'm just praying to God that there's a rematch clause in that fight.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's not forget about that.
I think that the Maloneys would have been, well, especially Andrew, would have been out of their minds to take a fight like that, to fight an opponent like that, and not have a rematch clause. Their management would have been crazy if they said, "Yeah, no, we'll fight without no rematch clause." But I mean, considering that he didn't even win the title, he never beat Khalid Yafifi for it.
Yafar, yeah.
Yeah, Yafar flat out dodged him for like a year. Right, and then Gonzalez kicked the shit out of him. So, yeah, and he was elevated from interim champion to world champion, and he loses it badly on his first defence. He would have been out of his mind not to sign a rematch clause in that contract. So, because as we said, he needed to make a statement in his fight, and he made the statement just completely the wrong statement.
And that's something that we haven't heard is if there's a rematch clause and, all of that. Because in my opinion, even though Andrew Moloney lost, in this day and age, and if Top Rank really the way they've been pushing these Maloneys, you would think that they would want him to get a rematch. But the thing is, if he loses again at 29 years old, then he's done. You see what I'm saying? So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So do you rebuilding right now and or do you send him right back into that rematch where if he loses, especially when the ratings, by the way, for that fight are around like 310,000 viewers, and it peaked at about 380. I may be off for about 10,000 or so, but basically the numbers, even though not by much, are up a little bit, from the previous fight last week for Top Rank. So that's one positive. And a lot of people are looking forward to tonight's card as well. But, we are going to talk about this fight that you're seeing right here. That's by the way, Jay, in the background, the weigh-in for tonight's fight is playing. But we're going to start moving on a little bit to other Australian boxing, i.e. Dennis Hogan, Mick Zarappa, Anthony Mundine. What's going on with Glenn Rustin, Dennis Hogan. And then we're going to talk about Jason Maloney now versus Leonardo Baez tonight. Top Rank on ESPN, 8 p.m. Eastern, June the 25th tonight. In about, less than 12 hours or so. 10 hours. So, first and foremost, let's talk about what's going on with what you've uncovered about Glenn Rustin and Dennis Hogan.
They have gone their separate ways. I think not too long after I spoke to Glenn Rustin and did that interview that was up on YouTube, Dennis Hogan has packed up, gone over to Vegas, and he's now training under, I think his name is William McGow. He's an Irish fighter himself, and he used to be, I think, the WBC bantamweight champion. Let me just get that, because I wrote the article's up on about Fight View 360. Let me just get his name right properly.
Well, basically, for those who don't know, Glenn Rustin is the trainer of Jeff Horn. Was the trainer of Dennis Hogan. Who else did he train? That American that we should know.
He trained Diddy Hobbs, who fought Marie McGee earlier in the year in February, I think it was.
Put it this way, to the American fans, if you saw him, you would know who he is. So here's the thing. There's been some talk or rumors, and it was Glenn who told you himself that Dennis Hogan may have a PBC deal, correct? Like, what was it, 3 fights?
As he said, he wasn't privy to the thing, but there was a possibility of a 3-fight deal between himself and PBC. So, Let me just bring it up. Possible 3-fight deal between Dennis Hogan and PBC. The first fight was with Charlo, and then there's possibly 2 more fights.
Yeah,
So
which could be
opponents
either at 160 or 154. Erickson Lubin, possibly. Even hell, the other Charlo, which I doubt, a Julian J. Rock Williams. You never know. There's a lot of
Kell Brooks' name's been mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So Kell Brooks, Wayne McGow, is the new trainer, Irish fighter as well. He was WBC bantamweight champion back in the mid-90s.
Well, the reason why I don't see Hogan versus Kell Brook is, why would he relocate to the States? Kell Brook is in the UK. Like, that doesn't, I don't see it.
I don't see it either, but it was just a name that got thrown around. So, Kell Brook's fighting at 154. I mean, we've talked about rumours that he's going to fight Crawford at 147, but he hasn't fought 147 in 3 years. So, anyway, but that's basically that's happened. They went their separate ways. Probably, I think that was first reported in May. So it was probably between April and May that happened, and now he's relocated over to Vegas and training under Wayne McGow.
Mm-hmm. So right now, what's the next update on a fight that, even though, I know that I'm going to cover, but I'm not looking forward to because I don't want to see him get hurt. But what's the latest right now going on with Mick Zarappa, who fought Jeff Horn twice? He took Kell Brook, to life, damn near life and death and back in their fight. He was in that fight with Peter Quillen. Yes, we know he got knocked out early, brutally. But now he's grown tremendously as a fighter, and his name has higher value. So the question is, what I'm asking you is, what is the next news on Mick Zarappa versus Anthony Mundine?
Okay, well, I know because there was a Facebook post, and hopefully I can get to talk to Zarappa in the next couple of days because I do have his management's number, and they'll pass on his details to me. Mick Zarappa did put out on Facebook the other day that he is fighting again in Bendigo in November with an opponent yet to be confirmed. It's possible it's Mundine.
But what that location do you think it is?
Bendigo. You know where Horn first fought Zarappa? Horn versus Zarappa won in Victoria, in Bendigo. It's a gold miners town, an old gold miners town. During the gold rush in the 1850s, very profitable place. It's it's a regional town in Victoria, about 150 to 180 k's northeast of Melbourne.
Anthony Mundine is 45 years old, by the way. He just turned 45 in May.
Now, he didn't actually say if the opponent would be Mundine. He didn't actually confirm that.
That's good. I mean, that's good. I'm hoping that they move on from it.
Yeah, but I have seen Mundine put up Facebook posts in the recent, about a week or so ago, of him sparring in preparation for a fight. And I'm just like, the video didn't look that great. But maybe he was taking it easy, I don't know, but it was just like, okay. But nothing official has been thing. All I can tell you, and hopefully once I speak to Mick, we'll put the interview on YouTube like we always do. November in Bendigo, opponent yet to be determined. He's trying to get international people, but the problem is that the COVID, we've had a spike in Victoria, and they've shut the borders down again. So no one in and out of Victoria. So that's...
Yeah, we're close. We're close to another lockdown here in the States. And next up on the docket, Horn versus Tszyu.
The last I heard, I spoke to Glenn Rushton the other day. A new announcement, new date, August, September, yet to be confirmed. So, but once again, Queensland's fine. Queensland hasn't had any problems. New South Wales hasn't had any cases. It's just Victoria, the state that I'm in. So all the other states are starting going, no one coming into our state from Victoria and no one going to Victoria. So basically Victoria's on their own at the moment, but all the other states aren't doing so bad.
Okay.
So, August, I mean, that won't affect Queensland and New South Wales because they're the next two states up. So August, September, we're still waiting on official announcement on that, which probably should come, I reckon, what's it now? It's almost July. So it'll be probably coming within the next couple of weeks, because they need to give people time to, organise flights and stuff to get to the fight, because it's still in Townsville. They haven't changed the venue; they're only just going to change the date. I dare say they'll probably make the announcement second week of July, because the Queensland borders open July 10th. So,
okay,
that's probably when they'll make the announcement. That's just a guess, though.
Before we move on to the main event, any other Australian news you want to boxing news you want to get out before we move on to tonight, or over in your case tomorrow morning's top ranked fight between Andrew Moloney and Leonardo Baez?
Unless you want to talk about the brothers possibly wanting to fight each other, there's nothing else really going on at the moment.
Yeah. You know, for those who got a chance to watch the telecast for Andrew Moloney versus Joshua Franco, I believe it was Joe Tessitore who was talking about during a segment that the brothers said that they would fight each other if, there was enough money on the table. Now, you've heard famously guys like the Charlos say they would never fight each other, the Klitschkos say they would never fight each other, and other brothers throughout the sport. But these are, two brothers that, I mean, it's all crazy to me because, you never know what can happen in the ring. And then if it's a shady decision or whatever, people are going to say, oh, it was fixed. In my personal opinion, I think that they shouldn't do it, even if, no matter the money. But hey, whatever. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but these are Aussie brothers, mate. And Aussie brothers, I've got a brother, and I'd kick the shit out of him for nothing. And I've done it many, many times.
Yeah.
So if someone paid me and my brother $100,000 a piece, we'd get in the ring and we'd kick the shit out of each other. Our mother would be disgusted, but, our mother would just sit there and probably smack the crap out of us after the fight. But I guarantee if they put enough money on the table, let's say $5 million a piece, which no promoter's going to pay two brothers that to kick the shit out of each other, but maybe if they come up with $5 million a piece and they promote the bastard out of it, it's never happened before in Australia, never happened before in boxing, period. Two twins going at each other, and I guarantee those two will murder each other.
Yeah.
It's an Aussie thing. Many a time, brothers have played each other in football professionally. First ones that start the fight is normally the brothers. So it wouldn't surprise me if two Aussie boys got in there and just belted the crap out of each other. It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
It's an Aussie thing. It's an Aussie thing. Other brothers might not do it, but it wouldn't surprise me if these two would. But I dare say it would take multi-million dollars to get it done. So, and plus, I don't think their mother would be too happy about it. So you always got to, Anyway.
All right, well, let's move on to tonight's card. Right now in the background, you have Abraham here. Let me turn this up.
32.2 for El Supernova.
So this is tonight's card for those who are watching the video right now before tonight's Top Rank on ESPN and Fox Sports over in Australia. This is
Next
the
on
co-feature.
The scale from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Avery A+ Sparrow.
Avery Sparrow, if you don't remember, got arrested the week of his fight. I forgot against who. Like right after the press conference.
131.5 for Sparrow.
Cool dude. I got to talk to him few years ago, actually a while ago. And here, let me pause right here. So, first let me start off with saying that tonight's card is headlined by Jason Maloney. You may remember him from fighting Manny Rodriguez in a close fight. And I believe that was the first round of the World Boxing Super Series, Season 1. He is fighting Leonardo Baez. I know I'm probably butchering his name. 24-year-old, 18-2 with 9 KOs. And it's just a bad omen around this fight because now you got people saying, well, Leonardo might beat Jason since, Andrew lost. Now, looking at his resume, I do know Moises Flores. I remember him. Basically, I'm looking to see, if I've seen this guy fight before. Likely I have. And I'm thinking it's this Moises Flores fight on what card it was listed. Let me pull it up. He fought on Oscar Negrete Facebook card. I don't remember seeing that. But in this day and age, especially with the different conditions that fighters have to train under and all that, you never know who's going to be upset. So he's 24 years old, but looking at his BoxRec pick, looks like this dude's been through some wars, despite only his 9 KOs. So looking at the 118-pound division, Northern Obali, WBC, Inoue, the Monster. Wait, and Jason's moniker is alias is the Monster too, right? Jason the Monster Maloney.
No, that's Andrew.
Andrew.
Andrew's
Oh
the
wow,
monster.
yeah, well, he wasn't looking like. Let me leave that alone. All right. So Inoue,
Yeah,
WBA.
well, you can't doubt that that poor old Andrew got the daylights beaten out of him, and anyone that says it was a close fight, go watch it again. 115, 112, that was a fair card. You couldn't call it any closer than that. To say it 114, 113.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That.
So Inoue is the WBA Super World IBF, and Casimiro. Now, Moloney and Casimiro were supposed to fight on the undercard. No, wait, excuse me. It was Moloney versus Joshua Greer. And remember, Joshua Greer just lost. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jason Maloney looks, and because now we can compare to say, okay, well, this guy tonight could have possibly beat Greer. It's crazy how that works. So a lot of pressure is on Jason Maloney. That shit is high. His brother lost. The guy he was supposed to fight lost.
Yeah, that's right. All the pressure's in Jason now, and that loss of Andrews will be playing in the back of his mind. So his opponent's already got a leg up. It's like, I don't think this Baez fella's got a brother that just lost. So, the mental game is starting to sink in, and Jason's at a massive disadvantage. But if you can put that aside and just go out there and just, give this bloke a good Aussie flogging, you'll be right. But yeah, if both of these brothers lose, that's going to be devastating.
Devastating.
Aussie boxing. It's going to put us all the way back, because let me tell you, history has shown, besides Mundine beating Brocco Mercado, I think it was 2011, 2012, I cannot find one time where an Aussie has beaten an American on American soil. I know this bloke that he's fighting is a Mexican, but history, notoriously, Australians don't do very well against Americans or on American soil. So the odds are already stacked against him. History. So,
which makes the fight even more exciting.
Well, it does, because I can't, besides Tszyu beating Zarappa back in 2001, and let's face facts, Kostya's a Russian, right?
Yeah.
He was a Russian, came here for a few years, went back home again. Right, that's all I'm saying about that. But every other Australian, that's born and bred, that's gone over to America, Fennec got robbed, Gear lost 3 times, Horn got the daylights kicked out of him by Crawford, Billy Dibb lost his title, Andrew lost last night. Do you see the trend?
Yeah.
It's history. America is not kind to Australians when it comes to boxing. I don't know what it is. Maybe we're cursed. I don't know. Maybe someone did something in a past life that cursed a whole lot of us, but it doesn't. Yeah. The cards are certainly stacked against Jason, but if he's good enough, he certainly should be able to, because he's got an extremely high knockout rate. What's his knockout rate? Like 18 knockouts?
Jason has 17 knockouts, 20-1 with 17 knockouts. The only loss came to Manny Rodriguez in 2018 in the World Boxing Super Series. Split decision, 115-113.
Yeah, and he didn't lose that fight by much.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and then that's when Top Rank signed him up, like him and his brother, like right after that. And they've been airing on ESPN Plus. So let's not get it confused. They've been getting this ESPN push for over a year, and they've been getting the push on ESPN Plus. So this is them getting, I guess you can see, a promotion to the big boy platform. So their fights have been big. A lot of money has been pumped into them. So what I'm going to do right now, Jay, is you're going to hear the weigh-in for Jason Maloney and Leonardo Baez play in the background. It's starting now.
To weigh in the main event, scheduled for 10 rounds in the bantamweight division. Please welcome from Mexicali, Mexico, Leonardo "Leon" Baez. And his opponent from Kingscliff, Australia, Jason Maloney. First on the scale, Leonardo "Leon" Baez.
I don't know. This kid's come to fight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've already seen the weigh-in, so I know what happens.
He just got like that look, even with his mask on. Oh yeah, he's about to. This is my first time watching it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay, I'll keep quiet because I know what happens.
Yeah, it's another 2 minutes left in the video.
Yeah, he doesn't make weight on the first try.
Yeah, that's where they're at right now. They pulled out the. Like we talked about, they should have been had this fucking curtain shit. They should have been had it.
Yep. Yeah, and old mate should have made bloody weight too. I mean.
True. Yeah, but you know, his purse is likely so small, and his team don't tell him where he's been training.
Yeah, true. But hey, you're a professional boxer.
Yeah. No excuse. Yeah, no excuse. Yeah.
No bullshit excuses. Well, who's the bloke that weighed at
Next on the scale from Kingscliff, Australia,
I don't
Jason
remember.
Maloney.
Hold on, Jason getting on the scale.
Oh, yeah, he gets under no problem. 117.4 or something.
117.7 for Moloney. Baez weighed in at 118.3. He's got an hour to lose 0.3.
Yeah, so Baez is how you say his name, Baez. He actually did ended up making weight behind the scenes. So yeah, you know, it's going to be a good fight to look forward to tonight on ESPN. I'm hyped because now, like, people have been wondering why the ratings have been so low for boxing here in the States. It's because boxing needs stories. Boxing is, we've been told, it's a storytelling sport. It's hard to cover these fights where you don't know, okay, well, what is this fight going to lead to? In this case, the pressure is on Jason Maloney. His brother lost. The guy he was supposed to fight lost. So that's the storyline for this fight right here. You know, and I expect for the ratings to be higher.
And don't forget, he's got to break that Aussie curse.
And he's got to break the curse. So this fight has, like, of all the fights we've had over the last, you know, few weeks, this one so far has the biggest storyline, unfortunately, because his brother lost. It's crazy how it works like that. And I expect for tonight's fights to have big ratings.
Absolutely.
Bigger ratings.
Is this Jason's US debut as well? Or did he fight?
Oh shit! I'm looking now. Hold on, let me tell you. No. Oh yeah. He fought. No, he fought down in Florida when he in the World Boxing Super Series. That was his American debut back in 2018.
Okay. Well, this is his Vegas debut. That'll do.
Yeah. So all right. Closing thoughts before we get out of here. We already had 27 minutes, mate. So we covered a lot of shit, and that's why I was saying, you know, we can't just do 10-minute videos. We had to make sure, you know, we touched on everything, but we did.
Oh yeah, we can't cover that up in 10 minutes. I didn't want to do 10 minutes.
Yeah. We did it. We did it.
Well, you know what I'm like. I'll go on a fucking tangent for an hour if you let me.
All right. So what's next? So I'm talking about next after this video. So basically, we're wrapping up this video. I'm gonna be here tonight, guys. Depending on how I'm doing, I'm getting the root canal. You know, so I'm going to do my best to be here tonight to cover that fight, even if I'm mumbling. You know, I've covered fights before with teeth fucked up, getting out of comas, all that shit, so this is baby work. So, but in regards to you, we're trying to get FightView 360, you know, and shout out to Big J, is trying to get Mick Zarappa on the phone next. And I'm going to be working with him on that interview to make sure we get the questions that you want, talking about Kell Brook, talking about if he's been contacted by PBC, you know, maybe, you know, any hints on his next fight, you know, what was going on with Mundine, if that was going to happen, so on. So any final thoughts, Jay, before we go?
Nah, let's just hope Jason brings it home for the Aussies. So it'd be nice to get a win in that corner for once. So we need a green in that. We need a tick in that win box for the Aussies in America, because we ain't doing so well at the moment. But if anyone can do it, Jason can. So bring it home, son.
All right. Give us the what time does it come on over there? What's the broadcast time?
9 o'clock. It'll be channel 505 Foxtel. 9 o'clock. It'll start up.
9 a.m. your time, right? Morning?
Yeah, so same
Perfect.
time as Wednesday. So.
All right, this is TstreeT Controversy and Big J with FightView360.com. Please subscribe.